Just about to the midway point of today's race at Chicagoland Speedway on a partly cloudy, very warm, muggy afternoon. Some impressive hardware as part of the pre-race festivities. And an impressive start for Kasey Kahne as he and Jeff Gordon traded the lead in the opening laps. Lap 19, first caution, Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch. You ride with Kurt.
Left rear tire on Newman's car goes flat. He spins up in front of Kurt Busch, who has nowhere to go except into the...
We ever talked to?
Two of the drivers in the top 10 in the Nextel Cup Series Championship. The restart from that caution, things went kind of ugly for Greg Biffle and Brian Vickers.
See Biffle with the left front fender rubbing the tire and the damage to the hood as well.
Now ahead to lap 40, Ricky Rudd blows a tire, leaves debris on the racetrack. Caution is out. Most of the leaders pit under this yellow. And it moves us ahead to lap 96. Green flag pit stops.
Well, Junior started to make a pit stop, but missed. Pit road was running too fast to make the entry.
And then when he came back and actually made his pit stop, he was speeding coming in, and he got a pass-through penalty, and that whole sequence kind of
got in trouble.
Yeah, put a little sour note on his day. 11 different leaders today, 4 caution flags. You see 4 cars out of the race. They include Hermie Sadler, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Kevin LePage, and Chad Blunt. A few others have been in the garage for repairs and come back out, like Brian Newman. Kurt Busch still getting repairs made to his car. And that's what's happened so far through the first half of today's race. Sweeping up the track, so caution continues for a moment here at Chicagoland. We'll take a break. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Oh, just as we come back to Chicagoland, that's the race leader, Kasey Kahne. He took fuel only on the restart, and he's got company in the big pile.
Junior, the 8 car has crashed.
Dave Blaney, John Andretti was involved. 4 tires, no tires, 2 tires.
And Jeff Burton, the 99 car.
You think somebody spun their tires on a restart?
No, because Tony Stewart jumped up on the outside of Sterling Marlin and passed him on the restart, which was legal, but he might have made contact with the 9 car.
Scott Riggs with damage. He was having a good run. Kasey Kahne took fuel only on his pit stop, got out front with the lead. His teammate Jeremy Mayfield and Sterling Marlin only took right side tires. Tony Stewart was the first one with 4 tires. He got an incredible jump on the restart to the outside. You see Blaney waiting for help.
I'm interested to see what happened myself, Wally. I did see Tony get that great jump.
He did get a good start. Let's watch here. Tony gets on the outside of the 40.
I think when he goes up on the outside of the 9, wait a minute, we'll see.
But you know what caused that? You got a guy that's not on new tire.
Wow.
BP, there's a big fight in the 20 pit. Tommy Baldwin, a number of the Dodge guys came down to talk to the 20 crew members. NASCAR officials do have Tommy Baldwin. They are trying to break this up. Huge altercation down here in the 20 pit, guys.
Man.
Here's my point on this deal, guys. When some guys take tires, some guys don't take tires. If you don't have new tires, you can't go into turn 1 as hard as the guy that's got new tires. So Kasey Kahne went into the corner, but he couldn't charge the corner like Tony Stewart, who had the new tires.
Ever see Tommy Baldwin, the crew chief on the right, the light-haired fellow, the dark-haired fellow, Jim Pullman, the car chief.
And it may not be over yet.
No, it doesn't look like it.
That's the problem when you have the different tire deal.
Jason Shapiro there, the NASCAR official. Tempers have boiled.
Yes, they have. Hey, this is no different than any sporting event.
That happens in the booth all the time when
Exactly.
you guys aren't watching.
Turn that camera off, because I'm fixing to hit Wally.
All right, let's go back and show it to you again.
All right, now listen. Here you got 20 on fresh tires. Now he gets a great start. Now the 9 doesn't have fresh tires, so he's going to have to be a little bit more careful getting the corner. He's going to back out early. Tony doesn't. He can drive in deeper because he's got newer tires. That's what caused that deal.
He ran the back of the 9 car, just turned him, and into the wall he went.
Tony just did not expect the 9 car to lift And maybe he wasn't told that he was on older tires. Unfortunately, it took out a lot of good race cars.
Never see the contact between the 10.
Wow,
But nobody did anything wrong on that deal. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You're driving the car to how the car feels. It just, you know, the 9 had to get out earlier because he wasn't on the fresher tires.
See Dale Jr. get knocked around and spun. Second place driver in the championship.
And once the 9 car comes off the wall, he leaves those other fellas behind him with no place to go. You know, we're talking about the guy that was leading the race spinning.
On a restart with the whole field bunched up together. Fortunately, they weren't all up to top speed yet.
Sure did a lot of damage not being up to top speed, though, as well.
On board Dale Jr.
And he got nowhere to go in a situation like this. I mean, well, actually, Junior checked up and somebody hit him.
Someone ran the back of him and spun him around. That's right.
When you're trying to pick your way through on a wreck like this, when you're in something like this, you're seeing things happen. When you back off, sometimes you get nailed. Wow, that was a great job by Jeremy Mayfield.
Scott Riggs, he doesn't make out as well.
He sees something happen, he checks up.
And in front of you.
Checks up.
Back her down.
Oh, here
And has nowhere to go.
There comes a 30, which leaves him no place to go. Let's see. There, Tony Stewart goes by the 40 car. And here he comes up right on the back of the 9 and just touches him, but just entering the corner. Turns the 9, around he goes.
And you see Dale Jr.'s car on pit road for repairs, and Jeff Burton is already back into the garage. Dave Burns is with him.
Yeah, a man who had a great car, was running the high line like you talked to Benny about, and then Jeff, what happened out there?
Well, I really don't know what happened. I just saw the 9 car sideways, and I don't know what started, and obviously got run into based on the way he was pointed, and then the guys behind me just didn't get checked up. You know, it's just one of those things. Nobody behind me did anything wrong. It's just it's just a big wreck. You can't see through these cars, and one thing led to another. Really disappointing. The Comcast board was pretty decent. We had a easy top 6 or 7 car, and just bad luck right now.
How bad is the damage? Can you get back out?
The chassis is not hurt. It just it knocked the oil cooler and knocked all that stuff out of it, so it doesn't have any oil pressure. I shut it off and I'm sure we didn't hurt the engine, but we got to fix the radiator and all that. The frame's not hurt, but the body and the radiator and all that stuff's tore up.
You hear the work going on. Let's go over to Matt.
Well, Dave, here in the 20 pit, Scott Deal is on a golf cart. He is going to be taken to the infield care center, or they're going to try to administer some work on his elbow and his face. He does have scratches. His elbow is bleeding. He was knocked down on the concrete. Other than that, he is okay.
You know, when there's trouble though in that pit, he's one of the first guys that's going to protect you. So he's the guy that you want on your team.
The car chief on this team. Now, the incident started when Tom Baldwin Jr., Casey Kane's crew chief, came down to the 20 pit to voice his frustrations with Greg Zipadelli over what happened on the racetrack.
And from there, they all ended up in a pile.
And believe me, Tommy Baldwin's no wuss either.
No.
Well, I can tell you one thing for certain, Matt.
Well, now it's just cleanup here in the 20 pit, as NASCAR officials have already talked to J.D. Gibbs and Greg Zipadelli, Jimmy Makar. Now, what the 20 team will do now, they're going to go through their pit, clean things up, make sure they have the tires in the right position, make sure everything in their pit that they need to service the race car, which was knocked over and moved around during that scuffle, is okay and back in place for the next time Tony Stewart hits pit road.
I can tell you one thing for certain. There will be some fines and or suspensions and or whatever coming out of that.
But, you know, once again, Tony this year, you know, he's been impatient. Several times he's been impatient, and this was another classic example of being impatient. You know,
I understand what you're saying, VP, but I've been in that situation. I mean, I crashed Jeff Gordon one time at Rockingham, same deal. I mean, I was on new tires and he was on older tires, and I went down into turn 1 and he got out of the gas a lot quicker than I expected, and man, he was gone. So
On a restart?
On a restart.
No. Bill?
Well, Benny, some of the other guys trying to work on their cars that were involved in that crash. Third lengthy stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr. They have checked the toe. They have checked the rear. It's all properly aligned. They taped up the right side, and they tried to tape up some of the crush panels that would keep the fresh air in the car and hopefully the fumes out of the car for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Matt?
Now, Bill, further update here in the 20 pit. Now, under this caution, Tony Stewart was telling Zippy his side of what happened on the racetrack. He said he didn't know if the 9 car checked up or if something happened. He saw him starting to check up. He tried to roll out of the throttle the best he could without causing something behind him, and then you saw what happened.
Yeah, like I said, I really believe Matty checked up because the 9 went in as far as he could with those tires.
The end result is that there are a few cars in the garage, a few cars beaten up, and Tony Stewart is the race leader.
A few guys beaten up.
A few guys beaten up too, yeah. Dale Jarrett and Robbie Gordon got a lap back because they were in front of the leader when the caution came out. In this mess, down in turn 1 on a restart. Casey Kane leading, contact with he and Tony Stewart, and the wreck was on. We're just about to the halfway point of today's race at Chicagoland Speedway. We'll be back in a minute.